All right, let's hope this is gonna work out well. Gonna test out things today, guys. See how it all handles and comes together. Who knows? It could be a complete bonfire for all I know. Let's. You know that I'm gonna change out the music. By the way, let me know how the audio sounds for you guys. As you know, I have no way of knowing how it sounds for you guys. Gotta pause here. Hi, Jackie. Now I'm on your YouTube. As it should be. That's pizza. I don't know why. Stuffed crust is like my favorite part of pizza. Audio sounds good. We'll have to see if Cross hates it or not. Might have to watch it from his phone though, I guess, since his internet's out. Who knows what it sounds like on his phone. Everything could sound terrible on his phone, for all we know. Alright. Yeah, I figured we would go over some stuff that I've got planned for the upcoming game this Wednesday, and, you know, make sure that everything is operating sufficiently well, because I don't know how it'll handle streaming via YouTube, because we've never done this before. A complete first-time experience. Let's see. So today is just me checking and making sure that everything is hunky-dory. Alright, everything looks fine on the network side of things, at the very least. But we're definitely gonna find out. Because, you know, switching scenes on this thing, see what it looks like. Of course, running it from the server should be a lot better than every other time that we've played. It'll be a lot snappier for everyone. And we can close that out. But yeah, so far, what I've been working on is I've been working on this sewer system, just on the off chance that I have to have it ready for certain individuals. And I can't imagine why that would be the case, but somehow I feel like it might be relevant. Who knows, though? So, Jackie, how's your pizza? Let's see. The last thing that I was working on was one of the other cities. Don't remember which one it was. I think I just finished Neverwinter. Yeah. So after Neverwinter, we've got Waterdeep, which already has a sewer system laid out. Means I'm pretty much set there. I need to get a few more maps though. We're still short on some maps. All right, so let's see. We still need Erebar, probably Tin Towns area in general. Oh, might stop it. Probably need one for Long Saddle, Tribor, Pantharl's Keep, probably too. Got Port Last now. We need Helm's Hold though. That's the other one that we need. Let's see what we got. How's our town? To get Helm's Hold map? I don't actually know if we did or not. Let's see. Thanks. Pretty sure there is not a official Helm's Hold map. could be wrong, though. Could be. Look like it. Yeah. No, we don't have one. Okay. Well, that makes that easier. Make sure everyone knows what we're doing today while I'm thinking about it. Tag everybody real quick. Like smart people do. There we go. Alright. Find a sufficient map that doesn't make me hate everything about it. All good. Smaller towns don't need that much detail. I'm not sure if yeah, so they made a pretty nice one. And funny enough, of all things, I found it on Tumblr. Every once in a while, find something good there. Not all the time. Every once in a while. What's up with this one, though? I'd probably go with this one. What we're gonna do is we're gonna save that. Crack that open. Photoshop. My favorite. Well, wait for it to load. I'll eat another piece of pizza. Oh. I might want to move my mic so I'm talking at it. I mean, it probably doesn't help that I was over here on the side, but the general idea would be talking at this particular direction. Also, hi, Kurt and Franco. I assume the audio is good for you guys. I had juice in this cup of water there, and I can still taste the very faint hint of raspberry. Yeah, this is about what I would expect, honestly, out of this map. Yeah, this'll work. That being said, it needs to be a little larger. You're mumbling in the opposite direction. Your mic is picking up barely anything. Oh, that's weird because it shows that it's picking up everything here on my side of things, even from an angle like this. But let me look at OBS directly while I'm doing that. I mean, yeah, I can see where it's not as loud when I'm not actively projecting. Noted. Well, yeah, I know it's gonna be fine when I talk at the mic. That's how cardioid works. But yes, I will keep that in mind. I'm used to only needing one monitor, but that being said, YouTube's weird. So like one of the kind of thing, there's a new update coming out for OBS that kind of fixes some of this. But on Twitch, I don't need Twitch open to monitor anything. Like it lets me monitor everything from OBS. However, that being said, that was 5 minutes ago. Oh, I get your point. Good Lord. Anyway, like I was saying, the weird thing is that with YouTube, that's not the case. With YouTube, I have to actively look at the YouTube window to see chat. There's no way to directly connect to OBS. I think I can do an external dock. That would be like the only option. It's kind of weird. I mean, big stream delay, but I mean, I set it to low latency. For some reason, they have an option for high latency. I'm not sure why. Oh. I could always give you the pizza ASMR sounds. Not as good as the hot mac and cheese noise, but you know, you do what you can. All right. So actually, the first thing I want to do is, instead of doing it this way, we're gonna use a different piece of software. I'm gonna move this over here, out of the way. I'm just gonna let this thing crunch and then feed you. What makes you think I have food? Bold of you to assume. Oh. Delicious. Alright, that's a much better image quality size to work with. Not quite 1920 by 1080, but close enough. Alright, so then we can do here, we're gonna open up a different one. Open up our AI altered one here. And we're gonna edit this image here. I think the surrounding lands need a little bit more, honestly. Listen here, you little... what am I listening to? The sound of my own ASMR? Stream stuff and things? I mean, yeah, that's right, Jay. We stream stuff and things. And technically, stuff could even be cheese stuffed crust, which Frankto apparently is hungry for. Also, how's it going, Jay? I do love me. I'm just average standard DiGiorno pizza. And Frankto will be happy to know that that was the end of the pizza ASMR. I have now finished it. My half of the pizza. The other half, of course, going to the more important of the two of us. So yeah, I've been slowly going through and taking each of the buildings and stuff like that in towns and things, and just figuring out the right sizes for everything, and then saving them as a PNG for the base file for future edits, and then going through and doing a WebP export for things. Not in a mythic, so can lurk it. I mean, hey, glad to have you on board, buddy. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 1224, divide that by 70. Right, maybe you or Jay could answer this one. Why is it, truth, I hate mouth noises. I mean, I do too. That's why I have like the de-esser on this Go XLR like cranked all the way. So at the very least, I can remove all the S sounds that come from a human mouth. For some people, it may be weird. No, can't do it. I have found having this thing makes it actually much easier for me to listen to myself on recordings after I've already gone through. Can I help you? Okay. Getting screamed at by a cat. Which keeps recommending me mouth noise streams. I don't think Twitch recommends that to me. Let's see, so 17.48, so we're gonna do 18 times 70. 1260. That there too. I could not imagine. Yeah, so maybe one of the two of you can answer this for me. I have wondered for the longest time why the industry standard for tabletop seems to be 70 pixels per square grid. Look, man, I know I got sidetracked. It wasn't going to take me much to get sidetracked anyway. We already knew that was going to happen. That was like the expectations that were had here to begin with. But yeah, I've always noticed that. It's like everything that I've ever exported to or done has always been like 70 pixels. And I'm like, why? Foundry's a noted exception. Default for everything map-wise is 100 pixels per grid square. And it's great, but nothing else uses it. So I have to just go and manually change it anyway to 70. I don't know who the hell was like, yeah, 70, that's the target number, and why not just 100 and be done with it, but... Because it's not like that 70 even divides into like 1280, or I don't think it divides into 1920 either. No, it does not. I just checked. Like, I honestly don't have a clue as to why 70 pixels is like the de facto like amount. 23, 70, 1610. Can't really answer that. I'm fairly certain it's a Roll20 thing. I'm trying to think back. I honestly don't remember enough from my prior days, because I did online tabletop stuff before, but I don't remember anything about the pixel density of anything. I definitely can't use any of that as like anything to go off on. Very annoying. No, this is fine. Good old content aware, Phil. Problem solved. Yeah, it was something I've always wondered, and I've never taken the time to look up. Like, everything I buy is always sized. Maybe it's just because it's Roll20, it's a de facto, like, current reigning champion of usage, so everyone just sticks to their format to make it easier. The only thing I can think of. I had, like, this feeling that it was even older than that. That can very well be based on the resolution of the image, so it isn't like 60 pixels really means anything. I mean, no, that's true, but I find that a lot of sources are like spec'd to it. So not always, and not like it's a hit or miss sometimes, but a lot of stuff, like especially tokens, are definitely, it seems like, set up for that particular thing. Perhaps not as much. Not bad. I love content aware fill. It is like one of my favorite things. Not always a perfect job, like you can kind of tell in here. A little bit of healing brush though, and no one will ever know. Except for the people who can see way better than I can. But I'll forget that it was done that way. That's all that matters. I may just want to crop it. The whole point was to get it a solid 70 pixels even, and I prefer to expand something than crop it more. In the instance where there's something like this, where it's like, if I tried to crop it, the wall would end up getting cropped out slightly, and no one's gonna notice that particular stuff. Like, no one's going to the outside edge going, oh, it's not right. However, speaking of things that aren't right that drive me up the wall, so I've got a bunch of the official Mike Shelley high resolution maps. I like his maps a lot. That being said, let me show you. Let me show you what I oh my god, this bugged me. And maybe you tell me I'm crazy, Frankto. Maybe you tell me I'm crazy. That maybe I'm just taking it too far. Sure you will. So this is the one that I'm working on here, editing wise. Now we'll go back to the 4th edition section over here and grab the original, like, this is what I got from his website. If I could actually load it inside of here, that'd be great. Now this is a JPEG, and I mean, I know I'm crazy, but like, hear me out, okay? Before the accusations fly. So, one, I had to buy this for $2.25. Not really what I would call breaking the bank. It's $2, whatever, fine. So, I bought this because I wanted the highest resolution, fresh, like, image possible, because pulling them from, like, anything else, sometimes some people have got these up online, and I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. Or they've already, like, edited them Photoshop wise to something that I would already use, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll just use that version because it saves me time. Bought this one, and I started noticing some interesting things. So one, he sells this massive thing in a JPEG file and not a PNG, so it's already a compressed image. Seems identical so far. Yeah, it basically is. I got rid of the border. I didn't feel like having it there. I was working on stuff. The other thing you might notice is that, and it's pretty subtle, not exactly what I would call like very obvious. What you might notice is that down here, this is slightly longer than it was before. Not by much, but it is slightly longer, ever so slightly. I had to do that for a couple of them. Money, why? Look, hear me out. I wanted the highest resolution because every other one that was out there wasn't as good. That being said, it had its own issues. So the issue that I found was that, okay, so if you have the pixels down here, or if you have, not the pixels, but you have the measurements down here, right? I measured this out, and I was like, okay, measured it out. Like, all right. So, you know, it's 69 pixels. Nice. Now, I was like, okay, so whatever, it's off by 1 pixel. The problem is that basically no matter what I did, I could not get this measurement to work in Foundry. I would set it to different numerical values, and I would keep trying. I would set it to like 150, 155, 165, 167. Like I kept like tweaking it. I was going like by half a foot sizes. Couldn't get it to work. And so I was like, well, there's something is off. Something is wrong. Like, what the hell could it possibly? Don't mean you buying it. I mean them selling it. Yeah. I mean, I guess Wizards of the Coast just allows the artists who make the maps to still own the full rights to them, and allows them to sell it, I guess, on their own, because that's what every single one of them seems like. Some of the newer maps that are done by another guy that I can't remember the name of, he's got his own website where he's selling them, but I wouldn't buy those not because they're bad or anything, just they're not good for like this particular usage. They're nice props, I guess. Like that would be like the best thing I think of. But anyway, so the thing that I noticed after poking around was that just remove the scale and do an approximation. Could. But then I wouldn't have a scale to just have on hand. So what I did was I was like, okay, well, if this is 25 feet, let me see what like 50 feet should be. And that's when I realized all of these are off. And I'm talking like, at first it's not that big of a deal. It's off by like, if I size this for like perfectly, it's like, okay, so 25 feet, 70 pixels. Perfect, that works out really well. The map down here is 13,725 by 96 by 75, which obviously does not break into 70 pixels perfectly. And the watermark, I mean, I left the watermark, whatever. Or did I remove the watermark? Yeah, I left it. I couldn't remember. So I started like measuring the pixel. Like I measured these distances by pixel, and I was like, okay, well, from like 50 to 100 should be like another 140, and it was basically there. But as soon as you hit past that, it immediately broke down. From 100 to 200, it's not exactly that. It's off by like 15 or 20 pixels, and then from 200 to 500, it's off by like 60 or 70 pixels, and it just got worse as it went. And then I realized that was all of this guy. Every single one of the maps that Mike has made, they're all that way. All of them. They're fine at first, and then by the end of it, it's just like there's nothing left for the measurement. The one that got me the most was it wasn't Neverwinter. Neverwinter wasn't that bad. It only took like 5 seconds to figure it out. And once I figured that one out, that was when I was like, let me look at the other ones and figure those out. And the one that was the worst was Baldur's Gate. This one, well, you'll see. If the JPEG would stop opening up in Window Viewer, that would be swell. But yeah, you can see the difference on this one. Like, it's off by an insane amount. Like, I was like, I sat there for like the better part of an hour going through and measuring pixels and just like scooching them down the line. As soon as I did that, I was like, oh, look at that. Everything works now. I'm just like how I don't. It's weird to me. Like if you've got like the beginning of the ruler and that's all accurate and that's all fine, how does the end of the ruler not end up correct? Like, but the first half of it's fine. It's like, But yeah, I got those fixed now. Feels better. It works. Like it functions. That being said, before you even ask, Frankto, no, I don't have anything else in town. The ruler works. I mean, you know, I got that going for me. Look at that, 5,000 feet. I mean, you can't really see it. I'm so far out. But you know, just believe me. Look, 5,000. It just works. Just right. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. I managed to wrap up the sewer system. Not that I will absolutely definitely need it, but you know, if I do, there. And that's always nice. Again, not that I would need it, but that's life. I mean, yeah, it's true. It is life. But yeah. We got the map pretty much good to go for Luskin. I just need to do the same thing for most of the other major towns that I think you guys are going to go to. Because even if I lay down plot hooks and seeds to other stuff, there's no guarantee that you guys are going to go in that direction. So I have to have some of the surrounding stuff also fleshed out further, which is just like I've got it all in my head for what I want, and I've got the points of interest all set up. They're all good to go. I just need to fill out the actual journal entries themselves for different things, which is not too bad. Each one's like a couple sentences long for the most part. Some of them are a little bit longer. But honestly, I'm really thrilled because once it starts to work, it works really well. Especially just being able to be like, oh, well, you're in Luskin. You can go to, you're like, oh yeah, I want to see the cliffside cranny. Well, I don't know where that's at. So I just go to right click and jump to pin and bam, I can see where this thing is at. It just works. Nice. Just small features. I don't have to like ping to the players. A player can just be like, oh, I wonder where that thing is at. All right, let me go look it up. Yeah, I've got the sewer system all labeled out for entrances, paths, major sections of it, and then smaller sections of it. That's the paths that are openly known about for each of them in each town. That being said, obviously, there's going to be secret areas. What kind of sewer system doesn't have secret areas? I'm trying to get the... It's always hard for me to get the... There we go. I wish it was easier to toggle it. I wish you could do it from the menu to turn that on and off, the visibility state. But otherwise, like, that works pretty well for me able to see the sewer system, and then if you guys don't need it, I can just right click and hide it. Nice. Also got Neverwinter done here, which you already saw. I'm curious as to what it's gonna be like when you guys get into this place. It'll be fun. And then Waterdeep. Waterdeep's just fucking... Waterdeep's massive, and I don't know how I'm gonna fucking manage Waterdeep. That one's gonna be interesting. I want to have the POIs listed like I do for every other town, but there's so many in Waterdeep that it's kind of intimidating to think about, like, getting them in there just for the sheer number of them that do exist. But I think I got a little bit of time before you guys run into Waterdeep. And even then, if you're in Waterdeep, it's not like you guys are going to hit up every single POI that could possibly be even remotely interesting. So ideally, not really in a giant rush to finish that one. But I even have like some of the smaller towns. I got Port Last started, but I don't have it set up. I just got the map today going on this one. It'll be fine. I mean, I'm not stressed. It's more one of those things like I kind of just want to have it done, especially when some of it's just like this is the menial stuff. Like I wish there was I wish there was a mod that would just rip the data straight from the Forgotten Realms fandom wiki and just slap it all in there for you. That would be a fantastic thing to have. So just be like, oh yeah, let me link it to this exact page, and then it just takes everything that's in there, creates a journal entry for it, and I can just drag and drop the journal entry. That would be great. That being said, like each journal entry itself is only like 15 seconds worth of like work. I'm going to like each section in each part of the website and being like, okay, what is this building? Okay, let me copy and paste the information that's relevant to you guys. If I think it's something that you would have to make a knowledge check for of some fashion, arcane or religion or anything else like that, I put it in the GM notes section, still in the same journal entry, and then I can reference it anytime I need to. But otherwise, it's not a ton of that. It's usually like, oh, back in like 13 something, they had a standing army of this size, or that kind of stuff. So it's like, I'm not generally stressed. I would say that I was more stressed that this particular stream and like the quality would be much worse somehow than like the standard. And it's only because a change of interface will immediately throw me off of like what I'm used to. Like it's just like, oh, on Twitch it's a different system. I only need one screen, and I look at OBS and it's fine, and I can see all the chat here on the side. But this entire panel is now completely dead weight for YouTube streams until I set up a new dock, which I think I can do right now. Heck. If I pop out, that should. And chat, you can now pin a message at the top of your live chat for viewers to read. Click on it. Oh, cool. That being said, I'm gonna have to get moderators set up on this too. Oh, I do like having my timestamps. Okay, so Beely should be able to copy that. Go over to here. Should be able to make a dock for it. Custom browser dock. Catch. Oh, it works. Okay, thank God. I might have to do separate profiles on OBS, I guess. Make it more feasible. I guess this all is one of the advantages of using the Forge servers. Yeah, Forge is honestly like, I see like why it works better on their end than on my PC, especially the way they have it all configured and set up. If I had better upload speeds, you know, like yours, then I could definitely run a better experience. But alas, my upload speed is what it is. So, you know, can't do much about it. That's much better though. Now that I've got that down there, oh, that is way better. I vastly prefer that. Have that entire panel is much better than having to like lift my head up, look at that tiny section of the screen, and be like, yeah, somebody is there. But yeah, I think Forge honestly makes it much more manageable just in general for everyone at the moment. If I had the upload speed, I might still run it from my own. Now that I know how to set things up better, It turns out most of the issues that we were having for load times was a combination not of file size, but as we've thought, a mixture of lighting and then combining that with where assets were stored and saved. If I had them sitting on a separate SSD entirely that was only dedicated towards Foundry, the performance would be much, much better, which is how they do it. They have a separate storage for all of your assets that you use in games, like images, artwork, character profile images, all that kind of stuff, separate from the game world and all the mods too. So that's why it all loads much more efficiently. Oh, well, now I know. But honestly, this worth the $8. Like, that's not bad. The only thing that I wish I could do is I wish I could link more than one license to the same one so that I could run simultaneously each game if I wanted to. That way, like, if we ran Kevin's game, we could run it from that, and I could still be on this one and tinkering with this stuff at the same time that Kevin would, like, work on stuff on his server that is running. But the way it would be right now is that you can only have one server up and running at a time. So Kevin can still run his game, but if he needed to work on character sheets and stuff, and I needed to work on mine, then one of us is gonna have to hop off for the other one to be able to work. So a small downside, but it's a minor one. Like, what are the chances that we're both going to be simultaneously working on stuff at the same time? Pretty unlikely. All right, let's see. I'm trying to figure out what else I need to do. You guys are going to Luskin, so I'm not too worried about that now. I've got most of it. I do want to do a couple more things. Some small, like, fun things with it, but nothing else crazy. That one's pretty much all set up. Let's see. The only bummer that I've got so far with the journal entries, though, was that I was trying to do the naming scheme so that the actual item for it would appear at the top. The only way to do it is to do it manual, and it's kind of a pain. A very minor downside, yeah. That's why I'm like, it kind of sucks, but yeah. The chances are not in the 0 range, but not in the 100% range. But I mean, hey, he wrote things and sent them to you, so there's proof. There's proof that he did it. I don't know if there's proof that it's legible, but you know. Sounds like a fan winding up. I'm trying to figure out. Oh, it's a regular fan. Kevin running the game. What a joke. Damn. Maybe I just have a little bit more faith in Kevin. Maybe. We're about the same chances as me running a game. Wow. Everyone's coming out to shit on Kevin now. And Kevin's not even here to defend himself. This is the way. Which works out because, I mean, we've got that new doormat. And it also says this is the way. Of course, that should have an arrow that points away from the door. We come in peace, said the aliens, but as historians would write later, they did not. Yeah, they definitely did not. Not even close. I mean, you guys sometimes do so far. It feels like a 50-50. I could be wrong on that, but it feels like a 50-50. But what do I know? Could be more, could be less. Also hard to track, knowing that you guys have skipped past half of the encounters. All I know is I can't wait for everyone to meet Moira when they get to Luskin. Oh boy. It'll be magnificent. Oh, speaking of which, I've got to pick a spot for that. That feels like a ritzy place. Where would a... Well, not really ritzy, but it would be in the more expensive area of town. These things happen. They do. But why? I ask you, why? Why must they happen? This place is gonna need a name, and I've gotta ask the primary creator what that would be. Oh god, I'm dying. This is it. It's weird. The fan sounds like it's got a higher pitched noise with the headphones on than it does normally, and I don't know why that is. It's very bizarre to me. Also, I need to adjust the camera slightly. I'm in pain from reading that. Yeah, it's Luskin. Oh my god. Oh god. The best of cities, yeah. Oh. I mean, it still hurts, but I mean, at least now makes sense. Oh my god. Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised? Wait, why are we laughing? It is one of the best cities. I believe it. Makes perfect sense to me. I feel like having the Red Bull and pizza was a poor choice. What am I going on about? Nothing. Don't you worry about it. It's not important. Also, yeah, your shithole radar is on point. It is true. I cannot deny that particular tidbit. Oh man, I cannot wait to see how that goes. That is gonna be a fun one. Okay, look here, Drunky. If you would like to walk into this office and tell me what it's called, I would recommend doing that. Since your typing has gone very poorly thus far, thanks to your wine. for shame, getting on me about typing. Types it out. Tells me that's not correct. Corrects it. Then asks me why I typed it out that way. I don't know what you want from me. I don't know what you want. Alright, so let's see. I'm so confused. Just walk into here. Just walk into the office. That's all you gotta do. Just use your words. Words over text. Everyone can agree that it's a more efficient way of communicating. Just not as pleasant because sometimes you have to talk to people you don't want to talk to. Like, you don't want to talk to me. So, yeah. Place is pretty much ready to go. Asked me what the name of the shop was and I responded, that narrows it down. Why'd you call it? Okay. That requires getting up. Okay. I thought you were being literal. You know, since you've been going by just Eric for a few days, week, 2 weeks now. One can never know. Just like, you know, Roberto DeBerto. You never know what you're gonna get. So, Cross, once you make it to Luskin, where are you guys going? What is the first place you guys are gonna hit up? Oh my god, no, it should just stay what it was. Just Eric shall arrive on just a horse. Yeah, and the horse's name is nothing more. Yes? Just yes. Well, how about you give me something to work with besides yes? Unless Frankto's leading the party and then we find out where Frankto wants to go. I bet Frankto wants to go to exciting places. It seems like that would be the thing that he would want to do. I mean, because you got a few options to work with. No? Frankto's not in charge of the party? He's not leading? I mean, because you guys are in Oakhurst, but I mean, you could go to Luskin, but I mean, just as easily, you could go to Port Last, you could go to Long Saddle, you could go to Xantharl's Keep, Erebar, you know, you could go, you know, Phandalin, you could go over to Waterdeep, Redlark, so many things, so many places to go to, so much adventure to be had. Oh, come on. It's not that bad. I believe in you. I believe in you. Truly. You can do the thing. I wonder if I can edit the... Is there... I saw it earlier. And I was wondering if there was a way to further just the latency. Playlist. Alright. Guess not. You have Waterdeep prepared? I have Waterdeep, but I don't have it prepared. I don't have it prepared to the same degree that I Luskin or Neverwinter, where I actually have like pinpoints on everything. I might need. So let me ask you guys this: as far as experiencing the world, I personally like what I have with Luskin as an example, where I have different things actually set up as journal entries, so you can just click on it and be like, hey, what is this thing? And you can click on it and you can see, and it'll just give you that general information. But my question for you, chop, fuck you, how dare you? My question for you is, would you guys rather have this, where there's information available and there's not really a lot of second guessing as to what exactly something is, and it's just there and you can refer to it at any point in time versus having to write it down or referring back to an old stream? Or would you guys rather have me deliver it verbally to you and just have a map like this? I'm in favor of the latter, because it means that anyone can go back and be like, oh, what is the Prisoner's Carnival? For those who don't actually know what that is. Or they could be like, oh, what's the Ruins of Lusk? Back and look. Super easy. Plus, you don't even have to go back to the actual town itself. You just go into the journal entries here and root through the folder entries for that town. Be like, okay, well, here's Luskin, and here's the stuff that's going on inside of it. All alphabetized. Pretty easy to go through. But the reason that I asked that is mainly because when it comes to the Waterdeep map, there's a lot of shit. Like, because it's one of the most famous cities, it has so much more to it. Like the way I did with Luskin, but you should ask everyone else. Well, that's why I'm asking. Because 3 of the 5 players are here right now. So makes sense to at least get you guys while I can. Yes, how could I forget about Horgish Morgish? I can feel Pixie cackling. But yeah, the reason I'm asking is because unlike Luskin, that has like, I think like 15, 20 like major like things going on in it. Okay, so you like it and how like Luskin is? Okay, I figured as much, especially considering it means you as a new player don't have to retain a bunch of stuff off the top of your head. Not here for long, just got back. Okay, well, what I was asking everyone was, what would you guys prefer as far as what do I want to... So what I want to know is, what do you guys prefer? And I already got Cross and Pixie's answer as far as how they want their experience with lore and the world around them going. The question was, Cross asked me if I had Waterdeep done. No, not yet. And then I made a quick diversion into asking if you guys like what I have here for this town setup, where you guys can go to like a journal entry on something and be like, oh, what's this thing? What's the last span? Click on it, read about it, see a little excerpt, or the Ruins of Lusk and see what's going on there, like Prisoner's Carnival, what is that? And be able to just read it and go. You don't have to stop and ask me any questions. You can just read it and you know what's going on with it. And then if there's like anything that's not explained in there, then you could further ask questions and I can answer those. Or would you guys rather have me kind of deliver things to you verbally and you guys keep track of stuff? Or I guess technically you could go back and watch the VOD that said question was answered in, but like no one's really gonna do the latter of those. Asking between those two, players have no reason to know any of this. Well, I'm not saying that the players know everything. I'm talking about like surface level knowledge. Like, oh, like everyone's heard of the Prisoner's Carnival, but players themselves haven't. Like, unless you play in Forgotten Realms, you're not gonna know what the Prisoner's Carnival is. You might have like some context clues, like, oh, well, it says prisoners and carnival. It's probably not where people hang out and ride small ponies and pet goats. It's not. Nothing that's in these is going to reveal super secret knowledge. All of these are surface level things, like, oh, these are the ruins of the town or the city that Luskan is built upon, for ruins of the Lusk. If you looked at the Harbor Cross entry, you would read that it's prohibited for anyone that's not part of the ship of Karth or the city guard to cross through this particular bridge, but the other two bridges are open to the public. That kind of stuff. Basic surface level stuff that every character would know, but the players don't necessarily know, and they would normally have to ask me, but instead of having to stop and ask me a question about something, or like, ooh, what's the Red Dragon Trading Lodge, or even something small like over at the Cutlass being like, how much is it to stay per night? Well, it's 2 gold per night. You don't even have to ask me. You're just like, I want to stay at the Cutlass. It's probably the cheapest place in town. Everyone, let's go stay there. That kind of stuff. Like, very low level, just basic insight stuff that like you could get from any person, even if you didn't like originate from that town. You could just walk up to a random person and be like, hey, what's the cheapest place to stay at? And they'd be like, okay, well, it's this place. You could go to the journal entry and see what that place is about. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to make custom entries for the stuff. Like, it's going to be, here's what you know for this thing. Everything that you're going to have there is as though basically the way I want to treat it is the equivalent of if you had asked a single person, the average person in a city that is in it that relates to it. So like if you went into Luskan and you asked somebody, hey, what's with the ruins that are over by the riverside, over by the one street that I can't remember the name of for the life of me. I had the street names on here, but I think I've lost those now. I gotta go back and check. But yeah, so like being like, oh, like I think this is Black something Road. Yeah, whatever. Point being, like, what are these ruins? You walk up to the average person. What are they? And whatever's here would be the general information. Like, oh, some people say that the dead sometimes grab passers-by who are foolish enough to walk through it. Small rumors, small tidbits of information that would be present to somebody, and it would only take a quick, hey, what is that thing? Or what is that shop? Or where is that tavern at? That kind of stuff. I will also nest stuff in there because every journal entry allows you to. I can do it in the Cutlass because I don't have anything here yet for that. But in here, you can also have super secret info that no one else can read. Only the Dungeon Master can. So I don't even have to keep stuff separate. I can keep it all nested in one if I want to. I suppose it's nice, but it seems like a lot of work for only a moderate payout. I think it might make more sense to only do it for important locations and places we might actively interact with. Smaller places like Oakhurst, where we have to interface with the entire town. Well, I'm not doing it for like every building. Like every building is not like important. Like you can see here, like this is the extent of like what's in the town. Like, these are the worthy things to note, and even then it's like, okay, there's the south gate, there's the north gate, there's the upstream span, which is one bridge. You have the Dalath span, and then you have the harbor cross. And this is just a repeat of the exact same one. It's so large. And like certain ones, like they're just not gonna have a ton of information. Like, yeah, this is that bridge. Okay, that's it. Nothing else. Just to give some context to the world, But then other things will have a little bit more information, like I'll have the price for every inn in a town listed. That way you can be like, oh, I want to stay at the fancier place. You guys can go do that. Or we want to stay at the cheapest fucking place possible because why not? I do that too. Just giving you guys more freedom and more choice without having to actively ask me, which kind of speeds things along in the long run, especially if you're going to go back to visit a town again multiple times, which I predict will be the case. Especially Luskin. I feel like you're going to visit frequently. You might even get some frequent walker miles. I think more than just rumors and basic information about this place, it might be more useful to put hooks about in the given place. Well, that's the whole point of those rumors, is that those will provide their own hooks. Like, oh, well, if the dead are rising in the ruins of Lusk, like, who actually has seen this happen? Like, all right, who's getting snatched? When was the last time it happened? That kind of stuff. Like, you guys can start investigating at that point. But basic stuff would be there, like, oh, the Cutlass Tavern is a den of miscreants and ruffians, but it's also the cheapest place you could possibly stay in the entire town. If you wanted the ritziest place, you'd go over to, what the fuck is it called? Seven Sails Inn, where you cannot afford to stay. Well, you might for like a night. Don't know why you would. The owner's a dick. But yeah, like, that's the whole point, is like, you guys would be able to have more of the world available at your fingertips without having to constantly rely on me, and it would also save me some overhead in the long run by just having that information there. And if you guys ever forget, you can just go back to it and go look. Simple. Versus me having to constantly be like, okay, well, let me remember every small detail of every single thing. Just the easy stuff to be like, oh, it's this. Okay, cool. Couches and perforations into the wood show evidence of recent attack on the city, bloodstains, etc. Game time, unbelievable. He's gonna leave and he's gonna go do game. What is he? See ya. But yeah, so the reason I asked that, Cross, is because Waterdeep's got a lot of shit. And I think fight the power. What is the power in this context? I'm confused. The reason I ask is because Waterdeep has an insane amount of stuff to it. I'm trying to find the... There we go. We'll open Waterdeep here. Because I know one of the images available for Waterdeep specifically has, like, every last possible point of interest. And that would be kind of helpful to have. Of course, I don't know what that image looks like. Let's see, Waterdeep map. Thought I had it. I might have an older version of it, or it might be just another folder for all I know. I found it though. So Cross, are you ready to see the other map that is available for Waterdeep? This is the map for Waterdeep. It is it's obnoxious. Even just looking at one, like, there's 79 points of interest in the Sea Ward alone, which is basically this area, if I'm not mistaken. I need yet another map to remember what the areas are for it. Thankfully, we have this one. Trade ward, south ward. Let's see. Oh, it's over here. Okay. Yeah, that's all the C ward. Like, all of that. There's 79 POIs there. Have fun, buddy. Fuck you. Anyway, the reason I was making that point is 86 there. I think it's the largest or second largest. 82. 82 and 86. Okay, so yeah, it is the large. Castle Ward is the largest one. Anyway, the reason I was making that point is that, like, there's an absolute shitload of these. And it's yeah, it's gonna be an experience trying to get this onto a map. Like, there's this one which is already done, but it's obviously not the same thing as having them built into a journal, like, in the map. Trying to figure out, like, the best way to do it, because, like, a bunch of it, it's like okay, yeah, these exist, but the chances of them being relevant to anything that you guys do is not super high, especially when, like, you're talking about, like, 30-40 villas for nobles, and you're like, okay, well, how many of them are going to be involved in a particular set of intrigue or events that are going on? You got this. Thanks. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use some other maps for Waterdeep that mention bigger points of interest, and then if there's other stuff that I think is personally relevant, I will add those. That being said, it would be super helpful to have other people, cough cough wink wink, to fill out some of the basic stuff, especially considering you would only be filling out the surface level knowledge, which is usually like the first excerpt to any entry in the Forgotten Realms wiki about an item or a place. It's like, oh, this is a place where you buy spell components. Okay, easy. Oh, there's a place called Thunderstaff Way. I do wish that every place for every city was as well mapped out as this, though. That would be... it would be fantastic, to say the least. Just for the simple fact that I'd be like, okay, well, I don't have to, like, guess as to what is what. Because it's basically this and Neverwinter that are like, Baldur's Gate a little bit, but they're like the main ones. Like, smaller maps, I wondered who would do that. Yeah, I wonder. I think his name might be Cross. But yeah, so I think one of the challenges there is just going through and figuring out what assets as far as the map would be relevant to players in general. The nice thing, though, is that once the entire process is done, you can package up the whole thing and you can share it with anyone. So anybody else who wants to use one of my maps that I have set up with all of these tidbits about different places can just jump in and use it. I think what I kind of want to do is I want a stock static default one to work with, and that would basically allow anybody else who's watching or interested to be able to grab those base files that are backup files and throw them into Foundry and immediately have everything that they need to just go. I'm still waiting for compendium stuff to improve to the point that I could do that easily, but it's apparently one of the upcoming features that's going to be worked on, which is what I'm excited about. Because as much as I love, like, I still love the ability to be like, oh yeah, I have, you know, these giant underground dungeons and players can run amok and do all sorts of crazy stuff inside of them, and you know, it's got built-in line of sight and everything. It's fantastic. I love it. But at the same time, some of the smaller stuff like immersion is also really great to have at the same time. Also just sitting here waiting for you guys to finally get around to dealing with this dragon. Yeah, I'm also pretty, in general, excited for you guys to get to Luskan. See what you guys are gonna do in a larger city. It's gonna be interesting. Plus, it's also gonna give me more ideas for what else we can add to improve the experience in general. I'm still curating and working on music. It's a process. I think it's one of the things that's like slightly more tedious, is figuring out what would be good music for a location or anything else like that. It's not my forte of figuring it out in advance. I'm usually like, oh, just absentmindedly be like, it'd be a really good song. It would be this or that, and then hoping that it doesn't cause, a copyright claim on a video, because, Murphy's Law. But yeah, Baldur's Gate is another one that's going to be worked on. I'm trying to decide how I want to do this one, because that's one of the other problems, is that like in this particular map here, every single POI here is so small that it's very hard to exactly place an important relevant piece of information. Granted, I can increase the scale and size of things, but the question of like, to what degree? Because even if I try to like super scale it up, I've got to also avoid at the same time making the mistake of being like, oh, well, I've got it set to this, and then change that set, and then it messes everything up. It should be 5,000. Yep. Okay. Let's see what we're here. 70, 192. Should be a scaling option in the map. I thought there was. Could be wrong. That might be with only tokens, I guess, then. I don't see it on here. But yeah. So, Cross, what are you and the party going to be doing once you get to Luskan? Give me something to work with, at the very least. I gotta have something. Let's see. Yep, we got that filled out. I've got a bunch of these journals that I need to go through and slowly start filling them out. At first, I tried to go through using the Forgotten Realms wiki, and I love it because it's all in past tense. I was like, that bugs the hell out of me, because if I just put it inside, it just goes, well, yeah, it's gonna be was for everything. It's like, reading that would be weird for me as a player, be like, well, it was that way, but is it not now? And I'm like, nah, I'm too lazy to change every instance of was to is for every single journal entry. I need to find some sort of script plugin just for Forgotten Realms wiki that just changes every single instance of was to is. That's what I really need. You don't know what if you don't know what you're gonna do in Luskan, why would you go to Luskan? Is it just to bother Frankto? Because if so, that's honestly funny. 10 out of 10. Would do again. Sell our shit. Find a bag of holding. Questions for everything. I mean, that makes sense. Also reminds me, there you go. Now you're a moderator. Congratulations. I was gonna have to do that anyway. Because, someone else has got to be able to monitor the stream at the same time. Besides me. Let's see. I'm trying to think about what else I need in Luskan. We've got a small set of stores for everything. The market pretty much covers everything here compared to most towns, where most towns have separate individual shops for a lot of stuff. I think Luskan is like 95% done, basically, which is great because apparently it's going to get used in like 5 minutes. Still waiting for my internet to come back up. I mean, I hope it comes back soon. About all I can tell you on that one, at least. Which one is the next close? Okay, so answer this one, Cross. Help me out on this. If you had to guess, based on where you're at right now, obviously, like, things could change. Where else are you guys gonna go after Luskin? What is the next most likely place? That's gonna determine like what I start working on map wise next. Because if I get to know that answer, then it'll save me a lot of time, and I mean like a lot of time. It's like, oh, you should, like, if it's just gonna be Neverwinter, then I'm like, okay, and I'll continue to tweak Neverwinter, because it's like, I think Neverwinter is like 80% done at this point. And then Waterdeep is obviously like 15% done, because holy hell, there's so many goddamn just places in Waterdeep. It's insane. I wish there was region, or not region locations, but like other layers you could do like over a map to make things a little bit easier to see. River City is closer, Neverwinter or Waterdeep. Keep forgetting. Oh, Neverwinter. Okay, so Luskin's right here, right up there. There's Neverwinter. Waterdeep is down there. Neverwinter is much closer, like significantly closer. That being said, we were also working on this map here. I'm gonna love this. This is gonna bug the absolute shit out of me. I can already tell that's gonna happen. But we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out what the pixel length is on this. Okay, so this is saying that 97 pixels is 100 feet. So then logically, you know, the distance to the next one should be double that. And I don't know, something tells me in my bones that's not gonna be the case. Now, I'm no math wizard, but I don't think 192 is the correct amount. It's not off by much. It's actually almost spot on. It's off by like 2 pixels, which isn't, that's negligible territory. But so that would be 194 times 2 is like 5 something. No, God, no. It's like 380 something. Probably Neverwinter then. Is it Neverwinter there? I mean, it was Neverwinter before the volcano exploded. And then it became super not winter. Which I don't have a whole image of that at the moment, because I just don't. But I do have okay. I was kind of hoping that Neverwinter lava would give me what I was looking for, but yeah, sure, okay. A flipped version. That's not exactly what I was looking for, but is that one so jacked up? Does nobody have like just a regular version of this map Interesting. Anyway, I'll show you guys. Incredible. Let's try and find a version that doesn't suck. I hate it when that happens. You find an image, you're like, oh, that's a decent enough example of what I'm looking for. And then you click on it and you're like, oh, that's not at all. Super tiny, in fact. The opposite of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a much larger version of that image. There we go. That's a better version of it. But yeah. It was Neverwinter. I mean, and then, you know, stuff happened. Like the volcano going boom. Fine. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. It's normal. Volcanoes happen. That's the key thing to remember. You're also showing up like 50 years after the ruining? 40 years? It's 40 years. I'm like 90% sure. Of the 40 years part, to be exact. Let's see. When is that? It's 1451. So I was close. It's 1484 right now in game for you guys. Right? 1483. So 32 years. Volcanoes bad. Volcanoes are perfectly natural things. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Nothing bad is gonna happen to you anyway. I'm sure of it. What's the worst that could happen? Come on. Come on. You're fine. It's all good. It's all good, buddy. Don't you worry about a thing. I forgot what we measured to. So I'm just gonna go back in here. Measure again. Oh, it's only 4 pixels off. That's pretty fucking good. All right, so let me multiply that by 2 and find out. 7. I feel like there's a way to see it, but I don't know how to toggle it. But I would love to be able to just go back to whatever I've got highlighted and be like, oh, it's this big. Okay, so that one's off by a little bit more. It's off by 9 pixels, which you would think isn't that big of a deal, but you gotta fix it. It has to be fixed. There's no like compromise on that. It has to be fixed. And the way we're gonna fix this, pretty simple. Since this is 97 pixels, we're gonna live in the sane world where I'm just gonna tweak it. No, wow. They are indeed natural. They are. And they build character. Don't forget. And building character is important. Should just call the entire series Building Character. That'll go over real well. It'll be a hit. Let's see. Also, otherwise, an entire building would be like 100 feet. And I have an immediate problem with a building being 100 feet. Like, whose home is like 100 feet wide? Like, that's a big ass house, and it's in this. No. I'll build you a character. I don't think you will. That seems untrue. If I'm being very honest, I don't think you will build me a character. All right, there we go. 100 pixels. Copy that, and then do. Go ahead and cover that all up. Got that, and then from here to here should be another 100. We're just gonna take all of this, copy that. No, I know, wrong layer. Copy, paste. 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 4. All right, so now we highlight. We should be able to hit. Might. Okay. This is driving me nuts. Whoops, wrong one. Wrong one again. How's my color swatches? Oh, that's why. Because one of them is set to a completely different color. Whoops. Make this a little easier here. Go. Oh yeah, I need a. That should be 1. I'm gonna merge that down. It's a little easier to work with. Probably be easier if I just had it that way. So let's tweak this a little bit further. Undo it until I have that layer again. No? Okay. Oh, come on. Why does Photoshop gotta be a pain like this? Shenanigans, what this is. Possibly even malarkey. Who knows? Alright, so we're gonna just do it again. Currently it's right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, my off by. Did it to there. Perfect. All right. So how's the mobile internet treating you, Cross? Hopefully it's a blast. Either way, we definitely have to fix that. That's gonna bug the hell out of me. Meh. Oh, it can't be that bad. We got long buffers. Could be worse, right? You just move this one. Should be able to just move it over entirely. What the hell? That works. All right. You know, we're just gonna merge down. The hell with it. Fine, I'll fix it. Fix it my own way. Problem solved. Oop. It was not a problem solved. It was a problem created. Nothing new there, though. Alright, so let's see. Back up. Do. Oh. It also helped to cover up the rest of this, too. Oh, I messed that whole thing up. Definitely not what I wanted. Here we go. Okay. It's a little bit easier to work with here. I decide how I want to do this. Before I was just doing the middle pixel on each thing. If I just do the entire center, that's sort of fine for one increment, but not for the rest of it. Also throw off everything else. And I had a system working and I messed with my system. This is a rule. Never mess with your own system that's already working. A bad move. Alright, so. That should be fine anyway. We've got this mostly correct anyway. That's 3 there. Am I 70? So 70 times. Basically, it's the same as 77 times 11, so it's 770. It's off like 3 pixels the whole way through. That's fine. I think now it's just a little bit easier to read. Okay, so we got that saved there. Thankfully, saving to WebP files is super easy. That. Helm's hold. Save that in there. 5th edition. And then instead of that, so we can move these things around before Windows Explorer has a fit with me. No. Oh, it's in here. Could have sworn that oh, there it is. I know I have the base files somewhere. Don't want to open that up. Okay, so let's make a folder for it real quick. And then... There we go. All right. Now, should go over to our Forge server and upload. It's not fine, redo it? What do you mean redo it? It's fine. You just want to troll me. Not very nice. I have feelings too. Okay. And don't give me doubt commentary. All right. So let's see. Helm's Hold. All right. Hi, kitty cat. Let's see. Helm's Hold. I don't remember what the population is for Helm's Hold. Actually, if I do that, I can check here. All right. It's a village. Okay. Should be good to go. Hey, look at that. There we go. Supposedly, that is 800 feet, and we are nowhere near 800 feet, so... Start off with 100 and go from there. 767? That's gonna be a pain. 115. We'll try that. That's closer. That's too far. $180. 844. Good lord, numbers are hard. That's pretty damn close though. 806. I don't think we're gonna get much closer. 104. Ah, there we go. 104. Okay. Nailed it. All right. I see you giggling, Yukina. Yep, laugh it up. Look, okay. Numbers, they be hard. Very difficult. Boy, what? What? What you want? All right, so that'll do for now for that town. So remember, it's 104. It's gonna be a pain going back to it if I need to make map edits to this. Also, feel free to keep talking. I am going to be right back. Because, yeah. All right, and we're back. All right, so I need more water. Yeah. So next thing on the map that we got to work on is going to be probably, we have Port Last. I don't know if the players are going to stop there, so it might be worth having a little bit to go on. Just in case they try to test me. You know, normal stuff. Set up those windows. Let's pull up some Port Last. So how is 7 Days to Die, Yuki? Let's see. I already have most of the information that I put in inside of the journal entry, but never hurts. I need to update the flag emblems as well, because you know it's nice to have those accurate. Close that out, and then we're going to jump into Port Last. So probably not a whole lot at first glance. Yeah, I kind of figured as much, at least. We got the cracked anvil, Welgun's wheel race wagon works, Jack and Saber, just an average tavern, Lion's Arms, a single inn, and then Stonecutter Solace, which is interesting because it also says that the okay, so there's a Jack and Saber for an average inn. Eye Patch, how's it going? You're working. Oh, never mind then. Trix and I took care of the horde last night, though. 10 out of 10. How's the new weapon working? But yeah, Eye Patch, I am working on maps. Have you seen anything with Foundry yet? Or... because, I mean, I can gush all over again on what I'm working on. I don't ever mind. Especially for a good company like you. But yeah, I don't know if you saw why we're doing some YouTube. Basically, for those who haven't seen why, the whole hate raids and everything else against minorities on Twitch has made it so that we've got the, you know, no stream on the 1st of September. Everyone's just not streaming. And regardless of whether that itself is effective, the conversation itself is being had, which is the important thing, at least in my opinion, though I'm not part of the groups that are being targeted. Good, I'm not too bad. I had pretty decent food today. I did wake up at 5 a.m., but that's because I kind of messed up my own sleep schedule thanks to that survival game that came out on Steam, Icarus. It's been fun. It was fun to play over the weekend, but it kind of made me stay up later than I should have. So, but I've pretty much recorrected my sleep schedule in one go without too much of an issue. I woke up at 5 a.m. I was a little tired. Then I had a Red Bull at like 5:30ish. Which should carry me until like midnight, which is about the time that I normally go to bed anyway. So very, very much on the pretty good day, honestly. I finished my work all pretty early, so I've been working on D&D content the entire time, like even when I would normally have been working. I was like, well, I finished all my stuff, so might as well put it to good use. But yeah, because of all that stuff, there's that mass protest. So in solidarity with everyone else, kind of felt wrong to do our weekly D&D stream on Twitch if everyone else is not going to be streaming. So I was like, you know what? I've been looking for a reason to jump over to YouTube and do some streaming, test it out, see how I feel about it, see what it's like comparatively to Twitch, and see what the experience is between the two, especially because I'm somebody who's interested in the technology and what it's like between platforms. And the only real other platform to stream on, in my opinion, is YouTube. I know there are people who do Facebook gaming and stuff like that, but I don't know anybody who actually goes and looks at Facebook gaming. I legitimately don't know a single person. So, and I can't imagine that I would do it at all. Like, I spend no time on Facebook. It's like occasionally I stop in, I catch a couple of memes and a couple of cute animal photos, and that's it. But yeah, so I wanted to be able to stream on YouTube, and I wanted to have it all relatively seamless because we've spent 4 years on Twitch. I wanted to make sure that at the very least our Wednesday stream went well, and I knew what to expect as far as this goes. Interface is pretty good, honestly. It's kind of weird that I can't monitor chat outside of my normal methods like you do on Twitch, but it was pretty easy just to make a docked version in OBS, and it runs pretty well. But yeah, all we're doing today is literally just hanging out, chit-chatting, talking about different things that are tabletop and gaming related in general. Thought you had to play a new game? I am too. I caved for a day and a half. I was like, do I want to get Icarus? Do I want to jump into another survival game? And I was like, I do. And I like it. It's pretty good. The real spin is that it's a up to 8-person PvE against the environment, and there's like storms and weather and environment, and it's a lot more than just like, oh, it's cold out, you have to eat more. Like you can burn down your house, and I did. It was magical, annoying and frustrating, but magical. Oh, you had no idea about the no stream thing? Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, most of it's been organized on Twitter, and I try to keep a semi-active presence on Twitter, in the sense that like I follow a lot of people that I like, and I look up to as far as content creators, and I see them talking about things, so then I go and look at it, and I'm like, oh. And some of the YouTube content I watch is also about the streaming space in general, not just focused on Twitch, but like on both platforms. I've barely avoided the damn bots. I mean, for the most part, there are temporary fixes, like, switching to subs only until, Twitch finally gives people a 2-factor authentication only stream chat option, which I think should be the standard, because yeah, you can have it and toggle it off if you don't want to, but it would be nice to have that option. Burn down your own house. I mean, the roof was on fire as it would go. But yeah, no, I think I still have an image of it. I'll put it in the Discord. It was funny as hell because I'd seen images online, and I was like, how the fuck do you burn down your own fucking house? And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I had a wood house, put a campfire in there like you do in a lot of survival games, because they don't care. Did not burn down the house. What burnt down the house actually, I can pull it up here on stream for you guys. This picture of my house burning down. It was an experience, to say the least. It was, honestly, I didn't expect it to be as wild, but yeah, whole thing ended up burning down, and as you can see, it spread to a tree over here, and it kept going. This is pretty early on in the actual fire. It was pretty wild. But yeah, they're slowly unlocking content every single weekend or every other weekend. You get to play for 3 days. They'll unlock some more content on the following weekend, or whatever it is for the unlock period. They've got it on Steam, but Icarus is shaping up to be pretty fun. It's a good twist on survival. So if you like survival games where you have to like work together, and you like crafting and building your own base and doing that kind of stuff, pretty enjoyable overall. It's one of those games that you definitely get more out of it playing with your friends too, and the fact that it's a PvE means that you're working together. At no point are you working against each other, which, based on how brutal the environment is on the early starting area that I was in, I can only imagine what the desert and the snow biome are going to be like, because there's other biomes, and the whole thing is that you're going to a whole new planet that was being terraformed, and then it stopped being terraformed for mysterious reasons, and now you're mining this material and using it as a form of currency. However, later on they're going to have it set up. The big catch is that you have to get back to these drop pods, and if you don't get back to them in time, you die, and you lose everything. You lose everything if you die, period. You don't lose any of your stats and skills and stuff like that and levels, but everything you had on you, gone. And it's not like other survival games where you can just go find your body again. It's just gone, period. You can get revived by your buddies, though, which is why having people playing with you is super helpful. Have to take a nap until the internet is back. What kind of moderator are you? You gonna take a nap around here? What do I not pay you for? Enjoy your nap, buddy. But yeah, it's pretty enjoyable. I've put about 6.5 hours on it. It's pretty good. I like it. It's one of those games that I'm just like, yeah, I could see a bunch of us getting together and playing on that. I'm waiting for shit like tornadoes to show up, because those are like some of the things that'll come down the line, is much more severe storms. Like the current storms will damage buildings and objects, and weaker buildings will get more damaged. But from what I've seen, you can get up to concrete, but that's kind of locked out. They've got a lot of stuff that hasn't been released, and or it's locked out during these beta phases that they're doing. They're doing it kind of differently than like Back for Blood or the Blood Hunt Vampire the Masquerade game. They're doing it so it's like small segments, and then like they'll have like a week of downtime, and then like another weekend they'll have it back up for another 3 days with a little bit more extra content than the previous time. And it's going to go all the way up until it launches on November 20th. So, however, it is beefy as fuck on hardware requirements. Their recommended specs for a GPU, 3060 Ti, and I was like, whew, I got a 3070, and it actually puts my thing at like 85% GPU usage. It's pretty intense. Game looks really good, and I'm sure it'll get more improvements as it goes along, as far as frame rate and performance graphically, and it being more optimized. So, but I mean, running it on the very first beta for the first time it has ever been open to beta on a 1440p monitor at 144 hertz, it ran pretty good. I definitely wasn't hitting 144 hertz, but it was hitting at least slightly above 60. I'd ballpark probably like 80 FPS. Solid. I liked it. It was good. It also eats RAM. Underneath the recommended specs, if you look on Steam, you'll see that it says 32 gigs of RAM, and I was like, I mean, I'm glad I got 32 gigs of RAM, and sure enough, it'll eat like 14 gigs of RAM, like loaded up, and I was like, oh, they're not joking. I was like, I might need to invest in more RAM finally. I don't know if I would actually be able to stream it from this. I would actually possibly have to bring down the 7 Days to Die server, run OBS on that, and capture it on that in order to stream it properly, which is wild. I haven't had to do that in a long time with any game that I've played. It's been like since the first year I started streaming that I had to actually have a 2 PC setup to do a game. But it's like, even though it comes close to redlining, it does pretty well. But yeah, we're doing right here. This is the city of Luskin, which Frankto is super excited to be in. Absolutely his favorite city, hands down. We've been just working on a lot of the important locations, having their sites and stuff filled out and available for the players to see and go to. I've been working on some tricks and stuff like that to get some other cool little features tucked away inside of Foundry. I realized if I did a transparent layer, I could take the actual map in Photoshop, lay out what the sewers look like, at least their rough like dimensions, and then take that and turn it into an actual physical thing on the map, and then come over here and be like, oh, there's the sewers now. And now the players can see where their entrances are and everything else. They can see where it exits out of the city. If they want to sneak in through the sewer systems, they can do that. It's going to be interesting. But this is just one of the cities. And then as far as the world map goes for what we have, we've got a lot prepped already. Each one of these is a town, village, or city the players can go to, other than like 2 or 3 things that I have in place. 99% of this is all towns to go to, and players can even read small excerpts about like what they would know about the town, populations, what kind of races they can find inside of those places, and it goes all the way out. I've still got a lot more to map out and set up. Like, I have all of this all the way down here, down past Waterdeep, all the way to Baldur's Gate, down here. But that being said, I still have this entire archipelago over here. I have these string of islands up over here. I have these few islands over here, and then down. All of this has to still be done, and there's an absolute ton of stuff over here that I still haven't filled out. It's going to take me a while. I've been working on the Photoshop end of things for 3-4 months now, and got it to where I want it. Now it's just going in and slowly going, okay, well, this is a town. Add that town. All right, this is a place. I haven't done a ton more, only because I'm like, I seriously doubt the players are going to go that direction or go that far unless they were purposely trying to fuck with me. Which, now that none of them are paying attention, I don't have to do it. And I know they won't go back and watch this VOD entirely, so it's fine. They won't make me do it, and I have plenty of time to skate by. I've been working on all the nearby places because they started out in Oakhurst, and so right now they're going to go to Luskin, which was the one that we were just at. So that's why that one has a little bit more as far as stuff going on. But I'll show you one of my favorite things, iPatch, is with the journal systems. Like these are all journals. You can write journals about anything. Do it now. I refuse, Cross. I refuse. Go to sleep. One of my favorite things with the journal stuff is that you can do this. Like, iPatch, let's say you're in the campaign, right? And you're like, okay, well, I really want to go to, let's say you really want to go to, you're like, oh, Daggerford sounds really cool. What's that place? You're like, well, I try and find it on the map. Like, you gotta hover over each thing unless you intimately know where Daggerford is, which is southeast of Waterdeep, like right next to it. If you don't know that, you can just right click and be like, oh, jump to pin. Oh, there it is. It takes you right to it. You don't even have to look. And even if you're like, oh man, this is a lot of stuff to search through, you just type it in here. Super easy. That's not very nice, Cross. It's not very nice at all. What kind of moderator are you? Unbelievable. This guy, he's so rude, and I'm so nice to him all the time. I think being nice to me would kill Cross. It's no manners. Not at all. I'm gonna take all his XP away. That's so rude. Like, just all the small stuff, like, the built-in calendar system is great to know, like, not just the seasons, but to be like, oh, like, Saloon will be a waxing crescent today, and then going into the 9th, it'll change into first quarter, and then going into the 24th, it'll be last quarter. And this is a fully accurate map for the actual, like, timeline of Forgotten Realms, so you can see everything. It's pretty fucking great, to say the least. Like, it's wild how much it takes off the plate of any, like, new dungeon master, let alone somebody who's, like, already got an idea of, like, what they want to do with the campaign and other stuff. You just go do the thing. Oh, it's Marin's. Is that missing a token? Yeah, I'm not even gonna question it. I'm gonna remove that one. What do you mean I'm not Crossy, you're not nice. I'm gonna do this in front. I will agree that it will probably kill me. If I die, then who would be your mod? I mean, I have other options. The question is, do I trust them any more than I trust you? Most of them, no. Most of them, no. Especially not Kevin. Or Frankto. But especially not Kevin. But yeah, just like a bunch of different stuff that, like, makes, like, running everything much more smooth. Like, even just, like, being like Glorgan, Pixie's character is a really good example of spellcaster. When she casts a spell, it'll use it up, but when she uses a long rest, it'll actually reset this number. Same thing for stuff like the crossbow bolts that she uses for her character. Every time she fires an attack, it actually takes one of these crossbow bolts away from her inventory. And if she has 0, it won't actually fire the crossbow. It won't work. She has to go find them. And same thing for torches. If you activate a torch light, it'll subtract one of them from whatever your inventory is. It tracks the encumbrance. Like, everything is set up really nice. And there's so many mods that add other things. Like, I have one mod added, and all this mod does is it lets the players give each other money and take it out of their own amount. So like if Glorgan was like, oh, I want to give like 2 gold to Damien because he's a broke bitch, she could click right here and send gold to a player, and it'll appear in that player's inventory, and it'll take it out of hers. I didn't pick Damien for any particular reason, though. At all. None at all. But yeah, no, I wanted to get everything just set up. I noticed that like there's gonna be some small things that I need to tweak. Like, for example, I noticed that like our camera is ever so slightly off, and that's been bugging me the entire stream. That's better already. But yeah, there's a bunch of different stuff that I need to like tweak and set up, but I wanted to make sure like the basic stuff, like the audio still stayed the same and consistent, relatively speaking. But as long as everything else is working, then it should be good to go. But I also wanted to be like, okay, 2 birds, 1 stone. Do a stream that involves the tabletop stuff, but also to be able to just hang out and shoot the shit and talk to people about this kind of stuff and be like, oh, if you've got questions with tabletop stuff, I'm your guy, because all I do is work and tinker on tech and tabletop stuff. And then sometimes I play retro video games or new games that have come out. Sometimes, not all the time. Still haven't played the update to Ghost of Tsushima, which I need to. I bought it. I haven't even played it yet. I installed it and everything, and I was like, I'm gonna play it. I have not. I have not even started the console up, other than to download it and then be like, all right, I'll get to it. And then I went to bed. And that was like, that was a week ago, I think now. I'm terrible. But yeah, honestly, one of the other really cool things is just the compendium section and being like, oh, well, I need a monster. I can make up my own monster. I can duplicate monsters. I can get monsters from friends who are running games in Foundry and take their imports and put them into mine. I just have everything that I could possibly want. You can make custom variants and then re-import them in the compendium and name them. It's like I have a couple of those as an example. Like this right here, Balsag. He's an official D&D character. Not one I made up. But he is an orc, and he has slightly better stats than a regular orc. Or sorry, he's a hobgoblin, I believe. I forget now. Bugbear, that's what he is. He's a bugbear. Life catches up fast. It's true, it does. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things like, I love being able to help people figure this kind of stuff out, because like not everyone is a tech nerd. Some people are like, they get right up to the point where being like, oh, I'm gonna stream. You hit the stream button, you can go live. They kind of get to their way and get to the stream. But like, you'd be like, okay, well, what bitrate are you streaming at? And they'd be like, I don't fucking know. I have no clue. And I'm like, that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, nah, I know exactly what my bitrate is. I know what my audio bitrate is, separate from my entire total bitrate. Like, I know what canvas resolution I'm at, all that stuff. Because I'm constantly slightly tweaking to see like what works best and what doesn't. That's one of those things where I like being able to help other people who don't have that, like, the time just for one. Let's see. One of the things I need to do is I need to go back and import the new map, because I have a bunch of roads and stuff that aren't even here at all that need to be re-added. Some smaller roads and stuff like that too. That's gonna be a whole nother thing too, is getting this map sort of updated. It's one of the small, like, kind of sucks. Like, the map's massive. It's huge. I think the original file itself is what's the file size on this thing? 138 megabytes for the PNG file. That's 10,200 by 6,600 pixels. So it's pretty sizable. I have a bigger version that I'm also working on that has like separate land masses and entirely like attached to it. I dare not open it on stream. Last time I tried to open it on stream, this one crashed everything. But I can open this one safely. This one's just the same size as the other one, albeit it also has some more points of interest added to it. But this is the map that I've been slowly working on and like tweaking and editing. And it's, as you can see, it takes a while to load this one. I think this one's loading from my... Oh, this one's also loading from a hard drive, so that part's not the bad part. It's just the other one uses so much RAM to display the whole thing that it's insane. But as you can see, like, you can see all those smaller black dots on the screen. Each one of these is a place, either a city or an important location that's canon to Forgotten Realms. And I've been adding some new ones too that got left out, basically. Whether it's like deserts, valleys, plains, a bunch of different stuff. A bunch of different stuff that never got added to the official ones. But I'm going back to like older versions of maps that had more information on them, and I'm taking that information and transplanting it to the newer, in my opinion, prettier looking maps. Like I've been going through, I need to go through this desert here, the Anarok Desert, and I need to add a bunch of stuff to it. There's some actual civilization here inside of the place, and the current maps that are available to like the average person just buying the system aren't available. So like I technically have the most up-to-date map available. I'm gonna make mine available on Reddit eventually, once I'm ready. I've got a change log where I've been keeping track of all the POIs that I've been adding. This right here. So I've been slowly adding more and more, and then updating stuff. My other goal with the larger map though is to expand below here, because the actual world map is much bigger. Like this, I'll show you this one here. This is the 3rd edition. So like the 3rd edition map kind of stops right about down in here. This forest is kind of where it kind of cuts off. You can see it. You can see the general shape right here of where the dragon's head is the end of the map. It just kind of cuts off right here, and that's it. But the new one, I've got Alamshan already mapped out. I've got all of this here. I don't think I'm gonna get all of this, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try and get it all up to date. Also, parts of these things have like changed, like where the jungles of Choltar and like physical continents have shifted and moved from big gods being gods. So that's a whole nother fucking process that we're gonna be working on. I might make some of those their own stream. I gotta buy more RAM, legitimately. Like 32 gigs of RAM is not enough for me to run Photoshop on the new map by a slight margin of like 2 or 3 gigs. So I might just splurge and buy another 32 gig set so I have 64 gigs of RAM and just be done with it, because that's all I really need. And thankfully RAM is one of the few things that's not like insanely expensive. I can get like another 32 gigs of the RAM that I have for like $100. It's not terrible. It's kind of pricey, but it's not the worst. But yeah, the process has been a wild one. It's been a lot of fun though, updating this map and having every last POI be added. I added one actually just a couple of days ago. Was Connie Berry, which I somehow had missed it completely. There's some really small towns and villages that are so minor that they don't have any real relevance to Forgotten Realms for the most part. But I want to, the goal is to have everything. Every last POI that is present in Forgotten Realms to be on this map. Every last one of them. You're right. You're right. You're right, iPatch. You could never have too much RAM. That's how it works. You just have more. You could be like one of our regulars who just I don't know, sits around with like 128 gigs of RAM, and he sits around with like 50 pages constantly open on Chrome. I don't know how he does it. I have like 10 pages on Chrome open, and I start to get fidgety. Even with the 5 monitors that we have, I'm like, no, it's... 20 is like my hard limit. I'll have like 10 over here for D&D research, and then I'll have like 5 or 6 up here for something else completely. But I start cracking at 20, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I need to, like, realistically, I'm not using half of those. I can close them. Fine. If I need it, I pull it up again. But yeah, I've just been going through and just doing all of this. The only downside is that I'm going to have some people who are like, the Photoshop sucks. And I'm like, it's because it does suck. Because I'm bad at... I am baby's first Photoshopper. I know how to use the content fill and get it to kind of pretend that I know what I'm doing, and that's really it. Like, if you look at this mountain right here, like, this looks fine, but then you'll look like right here, and I'm like, that looks a little smudgy. That's my masterpiece. I have done a lot of like mountain photoshopping, especially. Just a lot of times there's like text over stuff, and the only way to get rid of it is to remove it and then try and fill it in. And I just use Photoshop's artificial intelligence to fill it in, which does a passable job. Like, no one's gonna look super deeply, I hope. But, like, it's been pretty interesting learning just in general, like, all the big differences, because I think I still have the... Yeah, this one right here is the... This is the original one right here. That's a comparison. So, like, on this here, this is just static PNG file, and you can't shrink and remove anything. It's all just... It's there. It's not going anywhere. It's like you have all of this stuff here, and I was like, this is really good. This is the one I got from, I can't remember the name of the user, but the story behind this is that the original map creator got paid by Dungeons and Dragons to make the map. Mike Shelley, great job. Love how the map looks really crisp, really pops, fantastic. But it didn't have a lot of major plot points, and they've added some updates to it and done stuff. But the thing that bothered me was, like, there's still a bunch of stuff that was missing that I know from, like, other books and other things and other older maps. And I'm not the only one. Someone else ended up taking this, editing it, and making general template tools for other people to add to it. And they did it for like a year. Updated it, put it up on Reddit. Somebody else took over it the second time and continued to add even more. And then the third person is myself now. It's about the effort and the love that goes into it. Oh yeah, trust me. When I was first doing this, I was like, it's still enjoyable, but I will tell you now, the worst part was getting the original Photoshop file off of Reddit was fine. But the thing that sucked the most, honestly, I think this one here might be it. I think this might be the original Photoshop file that I got from Reddit. It might be. It might not be. We're gonna find out. But yeah, the thing that drove me absolutely insane was, so everyone who had been working on it before me had basically just been they basically found the right font, they found the right format, and how to mimic like the outline of the text for everything, the italicization, the right font style, font size, all that stuff. And they made a template, so it's super easy to copy and paste and just start adding stuff for what you have. So super grateful that they saved the time doing that. The downside is that they took the base map that Mike Shelley had made with the static text that's available, and yeah, this is the original with the Photoshop stuff. And I will hide and or move my face, because otherwise it's just gonna be in the way and you'll be like, what the fuck is he talking about? So we're just gonna move my head over here so you can see. So as you can see, it's got all the nested folders for everything. And if we move over to here and we toggle it on, you'll even see the template. Super handy. Love this kind of stuff, because Because it means that other people can come by and fill in. Like when another D&D book comes out with the new content, you just grab the file, throw the new stuff on there, and your group's ready to go. But I wanted more, and I wanted to like add to the project. And so I went through, and some of these you don't have an option on. So like you'll know that's the case. Like if I click on Oakhurst here, you notice the folder dropped down and popped out here. And so if I clicked on that, it'll take it away. The thing that drove me absolutely nuts was that if I wanted to remove Luskin here, well, Luskin's just nested into the map. Like if I click on the name, it just takes me to the official map here. Now, the circle is part of all the POIs. You noticed a bunch of them just disappeared all at once. All of those, and there's more of them. They're all like that too. You can see them all pop in and out there. And that was when I was like, oh no, I can't do that. I can't do that. And so I spent like the better part of like a month and a half, like just going to each one of these dots, cropping it, pasting it back over itself, erasing the old one on the POI's layer, and then grabbing the name. And if the name was like blank put in there, then I was just literally using Photoshop's AI tools to erase it intelligently so it doesn't look like a giant garbage fest, and then refilling it out. And so now, if you want to, you can have what we have on our map, which is a completely blank map. There's no names, no locations, and it's so that I can do this kind of stuff where I'm like, oh, I have the name, because otherwise, I tried it before. Looks like hot garbage. It's just like, it does not look good at all. And I was like, that was my main decision, was like doing that. And then it became like a side project that I was just like going through and like cleaning everything up. And so now every last thing can be removed. Every piece of wood, everything possible. I also shrunk down the names of a lot of stuff because I was just like, there's no, I hate how large these are. There's like, it just covers up so much for nothing. Yeah, it basically was a Russian nesting dolls for D&D. And it has escalated further because if you look at like, if you look at the one that I have here, I went through and I tried to like organize it more. So I have Underdark stuff for the underground cities and stuff. There's not a ton to it, and some of it's not even set up properly yet. Some of it is, some of it isn't. But then like on the surface, I have like major landmarks, deserts, forests. I've got everything broken down into categories to make it easier. And then towns and villages are all in one subcategory too. Just so that if you're like, oh, okay, well, I only want the major population centers. Okay, well, then I can go over here and go like, all right, well, let's toggle off all the towns. All right, so now it's only places that have a large population and or are some sort of dungeon or something else. You can toggle off the dungeons, remove them from things, all sorts of stuff. Even the roads can be toggled on and off if you want to. Not all the roads, I'm still working on it. One of the things is going to take me a lifetime. Mainly because, and I swear to God, I'll rant for a year on it. The pen tool in Photoshop, hate it. Absolutely the most obnoxious thing possible. Because the pen tool is how you get these staggered effects here with these little red dashes. It's not fun, to say the least. Everything else, though, perfectly fine. It's just making these roads that sucks, which is why in like 5 months I still haven't done it. It's like, you can see there's roads here. Like you can see these are small side trails, and I haven't even gone back to fill in these missing ones. But if you go back to our actual like our map, like they're not even there. I haven't even. It's so goddamn tedious. I'm just like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. It's the one thing I'm just like, I'm going to do it eventually. But I'm like, I got more important things to do. You know, like going through an entire town and filling out every single important location, and then going through and mapping out its entire sewer system, which is an experience, to say the least. That's what I've been doing today, was just sewer systems, as I have a small desire to have that set up at this point, but we've got some of it. I can see here I've got a Luskan one set up already, which I think I already showed that one. It's one of the things I just thought of like today, working on stuff. I was just like, oh, I could do this and have it set up so that players can just check out a... Oh, moved my entire sewer system there. And if I'm like, okay, players aren't in the sewers anymore, toggle it off, hide the sewers, problem solved. And bam. Players can't see it, but I can still make a rough outline of where the sewers are at. So until they explore it properly, no need to have it there. But yeah, I'm honestly enjoying Foundry. Foundry's been a blast because it just makes things much easier, especially when it comes to like importing the maps. Like just having a basic dungeon and being like, oh yeah, I made the dungeon in Dungeon Fog. I save it, I export it, it automatically applies all the walls and all the stuff for line of sight, and it recognizes every light fixture that I added, and it just throws it all in there. The only thing I have to do with lighting, for example, I just gotta go to each light and be like, oh, is it a torch? Toggle it to torch, that's it. Which can be kind of tedious when it's like, you got like 15, 20, 30 lights, but you do it once and then you're done. Yeah, I trust me, I super recommend to anyone Foundry is like being like the one-stop shop for tabletop at this point. Like, it's got Vampire 5th edition, it's got D&D 5th edition, it's got D&D 3.5, it's got Pathfinder 1st edition, it's got Pathfinder 2nd edition, it's got 158 game systems currently, and more are being added all the time. I'm waiting for Vampire V20 to be added finally, because it's me. It's the one thing I'm really waiting on, and I just don't have the time to do it myself, or I already would have. I just, as you can see, I'm spending every single week that I have working on all the other projects that we have, so I'm just like, yeah, I don't have time to work on designing a character sheet that is fully implemented in this system. Maybe one day if someone else doesn't get to it, but honestly, I'm loving it. Like, even the small stuff, like, for example, like, in Roll20, I've always wanted to have, like, in D&D or any game that has, like, a special ability that has an area of effect. Like, oh, well, it's kind of a pain in the ass, like, normally to use that ability and know what it is. Like, gonna hit. So, what I love about this system is that this is a built-in... I change that over there. So, anytime I need to, it has a built-in template for me. Oh, I did the thing. But yeah, like, as you can see, built-in template, you can actually ensure who gets hit by said template. I can see here that these two got hit by it. I could literally come here and I could mark them both, come down here, and I can roll the damage against them, and it'll hit both of them, and it'll automatically subtract for them. It's great, to say the least. Crest, if you do that, rip the unified sheet idea that happened in Roll20 before the author abandoned it. Ah, yeah, the unified sheet that has everything on the planet. The only problem with that is getting everything to work nicely, but it should be relatively easy with just a lot of work. That's what it comes down to. Also, how's it going, Mo? How's your day, buddy? But yeah, I'm pretty thrilled with it, honestly. If I get a hold of it and I start doing it, I will almost assuredly be working on a unified, all-in-one. What did you doing to poor Marin? Wait, nothing. It was an example. Marin's fine. And besides, the last person I'm worrying about is Marin the Baron. It's not. Not the one that I'm worried about. The least squishy of the characters. Especially now. I think she's fine. Pretty sure, statistically speaking. I could be wrong. But I don't think I am. Just putting it out there. Person who could become the giant bear. Probably fine. Probably. Now you might get a little frostbite, but nothing terrible. But yeah, no. We're just hanging out, testing out things. I just wanted to make sure that everything as far as our stuff goes is relatively functioning. Who are you worried about? Oh, I mean, probably Damien, considering he's a wizard, which makes him the squishiest. Can I help you? Do you need something? Huh? You need something?
Mom, man. Ooh, I like it.
Somebody's stepping on the soundboard, everyone. Doing a weird Good, YouTube streaming is weird. Yeah, I have never streamed on YouTube. This is our first time ever doing it, so I was like, you know what? I should do it before the Wednesday game, just that I know everything is working functionally, and just get a relative idea. You love her. I can tell. I can tell. You're fine. I figured it wasn't actually lice that you were talking about. But yeah, I'm pretty thrilled with this, honestly. It's pretty decent as far as experiences go. The YouTube setup was pretty easy compared to Twitch. About the same process, really. You just throw in the relative stream key that's related to your stream, and then you just go. You got a cat on your chest? I do not have a cat on my chest, as you can tell. I could have, but he abandoned me quickly. Hey. He's eating plastic because he's dumb. Such a brat, I swear to God. If you go back to that plastic bag, I swear to God. I have to hold onto the plastic bag because someone's mom left a plastic bag out here. Wonder who it could have been. And I took the plastic bag. I swear to God, this cat. Worried about poor Damien. He's nice. What's his alignment again, buddy? I don't quite remember, so I need to double check with you to know that the alignment is in fact the correct one. Oh, now he's just innocently laying on the bag. This is replacing Twitch streaming. So currently it is not replacing Twitch streaming. So don't have to worry about that. But it may. It depends on how things, like, if we do significantly better on YouTube, which wouldn't surprise me, if I'm being honest. Like, there is no discoverability on on Twitch, which is why, like, 4 years in, we're at 500 people as far as followers go. There's not a whole lot of, like, people being able to find you amongst everyone else. Like, Twitch doesn't recommend shit for anything. Like, it just doesn't do a good job, like, at all. Whereas on here, it's like, okay, well, I can do more with everything. Plus, they don't delete your stuff. So I have a back catalog. So if somebody's like, oh, you know, I just, like, not even necessarily want to catch a live stream, but I just want to have something on for the background noise. Well, Ren and his group have got a D&D game. They've got a live play. Well, they've got on a playlist. I could just throw it on for some background noise and listen to them fuck around and listen to Baron murder things and Glorgan be Glorgan. That sounds like a good time. Let me cue it up. And they have like 4 hours per episode, basically, of just you all fucking hamming it up and me shaking my head. Oh yeah, Cross. I bet his alignment is exactly that. It is, quote, something nice. Big quotation marks there on the nice part, especially. Double quotation marks, possibly. I regret that I have no water left. Sad. Maybe I'll get some more. Maybe. But yeah, I wanted to see how it feels. Because I know that there's different bit rates, different latencies, all that kind of stuff is very different. It's a little confusing, I will say that, starting YouTube stream, only because you have to go to the go live section, and the first time I did last night gave me a fucking heart attack for one reason. We've got a bot. Our Phantom bot specifically is the bot that I have running on my PC, and so of all things, I looked at our Discord and I saw that it was like RinVindor went live, and I was like, no the fuck I didn't. I was like, all I did was click on the go live button, because you have to click on the go live button to then type in like the name of the stream, add a thumbnail, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, no I didn't. I definitely did not mute, and I was like, shit, why is it doing that? I was like, oh, it just knows that like you have set one to go live, and so the bot responds super quick for the YouTube stuff, but it's much slower on Twitch. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but like I'll have the stream up sometimes up to like 5, sometimes 10 minutes, and then the bot's like, hey, we're live. YouTube was like 2 minutes at most, and I was like, delete. So it's kind of weird. Yeah, we come in peace. Yeah, you guys definitely come in peace, and you leave things in pieces. Never streamed on YouTube, but thought about it. It's so far pretty decent. Like I actively see some of the benefit, and I see some of the negatives. There's certain things that like I'm like, okay, these are different like bonuses, like only because I'm interested in like how things work numbers wise. But the other reason that like I think more YouTube content is only better is because one, it adds discoverability, which you ask any large YouTuber or content creator, they'll tell you that's the key thing, is like having content on multiple platforms in general. There's a marketing level term for it. It's like a funnel where the content that you create that has the widest audience should be helping towards funneling them towards like something that is less easily reached. Twitch would be an example of something that's less easily reached. Like you can send somebody like to your Twitch channel if they ask about it directly, sure. Like I've had people ask about me in my Twitch channel. Like when I go to like my favorite poke place, they're like, oh, you stream on Twitch? I'm like, yeah. So two of the guys there have followed our channel. But like that's not the majority of it. The majority of people are just kind of stumbling upon you by recommendation from somebody else that you've interacted with or other friends in the community that you've got. So it's one of those weird, like, you have to connect and network a ton and be super good at that, or it's gonna be a giant nightmare. And even then, you still need to do other things on the net. Like you need to have like a Twitter, you need to have an Instagram, something else, something out there. The more the better. This cat hair is killing me. What's that kingdom in the far east of the map there? We're going there next. Wait, I mean, which one? I mean, this isn't the end of this map. I mean, there's like that little ad bar. I mean, sure, you can go to Castle Hartwick if you want. That's it. There's the big sheet of fucking ice. There's the desert. There's actually legitimately nothing like all of this here. There are mountain ranges and forests and plains, but there's not actually like a civilization out here. So you would just be in an empty field. There's stuff in the desert though. Would recommend. Great time. But yeah, as far as YouTube goes, honestly, Jay, it really just depends. If it does really, really well and people really like having the content on here, then we might make the eventual move. And then if people want to support me, they could just move their subscription from Twitch to Patreon and or on here. And no matter which one they chose, whether it was through YouTube or Patreon, I would still get more of the money that they send to me than I would on Twitch, because Twitch gives me 50-50. So the $5 you spend, every sub is actually $2.50. Whereas like on Patreon, it's like 92% is what you get to keep on Patreon, like flat. So like even if I made the sub like $4, I would still get more on Patreon than I would from Twitch. So like, well, why not? Like, shit, I could make it $3 and still get more. So it's just one of those cases where if it's better and everyone prefers it because more people use YouTube anyway, why not? Plus, I want to do some content in the upcoming future that's one of those things that some people have like suggested that I do, and that being regards to tabletop games and different tech to use to help stream it and how you can set it all up and get it going. And so I'm kind of thinking of doing something like one of the YouTubers that I also watch, Epos Fox, do, where it's kind of like a masterclass of how to set up and how to get things going. And I would do it in the style of like how I set up my games, because I've already got a system in place for it that pretty much just works each time, and it's really nice. That would cover things like how to install the mods, which mods I use to make my life remotely tolerable, because I love Foundry, but there are a couple small things that like I need to have mod-wise. Like one of the smallest mods that I have installed just lets you unsnap the ruler, because without it, you can't. Without unsnapping, without that mod, your ruler is permanently stuck. Snap. There is no unsnap method. And all it does, you hold down Shift, and then you can have it in whatever orientation you want, or wherever you want, and it's great. It's just like a mod you have to have. But if you guys have requests or ideas as far as the YouTube stuff goes, by all means, let me know. Because if anything, that just gives me more stuff to consider and think about and see if that's something that I want to explore. So if you've got something for me, Jay, I'm all ears and eyes and limbs and other parts too. I really wish I had more water, but I don't have the motivation and energy to get up. If only one of the cats would get me water. A bunch of bums around here, though. I should probably delete these before I confuse myself. Why is the dragon breathing ice fire or ice breath for no reason? It'd be very weird. All right. But yeah. You guys got any ideas for anything that you would like to see me do, or any questions in particular? You know, I mean, this is what we're doing today. This is literally just me hanging out, answering a couple of questions. Any ideas that people might have? That's a mood. It's a whole mood. Who knows though? I know that if we did move over from Twitch straight to YouTube, it would be kind of a regrowing process, where it would just be a slow, steady growth on like getting things up there. But that being said, I think it might be worth it in the end, just from a standpoint of like being able to actually do something content wise, because this is like the biggest thing about like Twitch that is hard, is that like if you're not streaming, you ain't making shit for money. Chop chop on those maps. I'm fucking working on it, man. Okay, I'm working on it. Do you want to help me with the maps? Okay, because I mean, I'm only one guy. I'm handsome, but I'm only one guy. Look at how much I already have. Okay, look, I even have the sewer system for Neverwinter. Okay, I have it on the screen yet, but I have it. In fact, actually, I think did I import it yet? I don't remember if I imported it or not. I'm gonna find out now, because I don't remember. I have not. while I'm waiting for you all to ask questions, I'm going to take a quick chance to do that. There we go. That's the one I need. My sewers. Oh, I do have it right there. Never mind. That's right. Okay. Please turn off the bright light. Good lord. Okay, so let's that. Do. But yeah, you guys got anything as far as requests, recommendations? Anything you've ever been curious about? Besides map making, what are some of the other things you have to work on as a DM and GM? I think some of the things that, honestly, I know the one that I have to work on that I have already gotten better on, and it's the one that Cross and Frankto absolutely live to fuck with me about, and specifically, it's remembering what the fuck happened in the last session. Like, every time that we've done a game, I'm always like, yeah, I don't remember what the fuck happened last week. I'm gonna need the players to remind me. I'm like, oh, that's right. Because I'm so used to doing stuff like improv that I typically don't write down notes of like the previous set of events, which for 90% of it is fine. Not that big of a deal. But occasionally I do forget and I have something like mixed up or like slightly off. Like I'll have like the wrong person doing something else in my head. I'm like, oh, that's right. It wasn't that person. It was somebody else. That kind of thing. It happens all the time. They give me shit on the regular for that. Well, bless you. Cat sneezed. That's probably one of the bigger ones. For me as a GM. The other thing that I feel like I usually have to work on as a GM, anytime I'm doing a game and I'm running it, I always have like this urge to have a bunch of stuff for it, because I'm very pro sandbox. I love the idea of, that's annoying. I love the idea of being able to be like, oh, I could walk into a town and I can go fuck around and find out. Like just wherever I'm at, anywhere, I can just do the thing and find something interesting to do. That being said, not everyone does things that way, and some people prefer things more structured. So lately it's been more of an attempt to have the core ideas down for something, and then once I have those core ideas, flesh them out to a degree. Yeah, it can definitely fuck things up on the regular. It's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, I have a little bit that I need to work on. Let me work on those kind of things. But I mean, playing and running a D&D game, it's always about, I think, it's like a lot of things, it's always a case of like getting better at the thing. There's always room to improve on your craft, no matter what you're doing, whether it's running tabletop games, or it's writing, or it's programming for something, or building something. Doesn't matter what it is, you can always improve something somewhere along the lines. Like for me, I feel like my improv is pretty decent. Not the naming of people though. I'm terrible at names. That's why there are names like Roberto DeBerto in my campaigns. versus something that actually makes fucking sense. But I feel like as far as like, well, fill-in motivations and stuff like that, and like things that are going on inside of a city, or a town, or like some side plot events, I can come up with those things pretty easily and reflexively without a lot of forethought involved. The best thing that I was told when I was younger was check out an improv class and go to an improv class. Obviously, right now, not super easy, pandemic, all that jazz. But when you can, check one out. Just because getting good at some of the improv and having like some of it off the cuff does lend to the experience overall, because your players can kind of sidetrack if they want to, and it's not the end of the world. Like, they don't have to follow the railroad presented before them perfectly. And for me, that's how I've always wanted to play my games. I've never been somebody who wants to do even if you brought me in and you're like, we're gonna do this campaign, here's like the story structure, I'm like, okay, I still do want to step outside those bounds and like do other stuff in the quest. Like, yeah, I know, prevent the big bad evil cult from doing the big bad evil thing, sure, yeah, whatever, we'll get to that. But a lot like Link, I would like to go do the fishing contest, the archery contest, the slingshot contest, and to get that guy's chickens back. The rewards are good, man. Okay, what can I say? If you have me on your TV and you're replying by the phone, so good, so good. I don't think I've watched too many people on stream via my TV. Like, I've got a 4K TV, and I don't have it set up for that. I could, but I just don't. I generally just like, I pull it up here on the monitor. I'm just like, I watch from here, and then I have my other monitors to do that are projects and stuff. One of these days, I got to do it from the TV though. I feel like that'd be very relaxing. Just be like, I'm gonna vegetate, pull out my Switch, have my phone off to the side, occasionally respond to something, go right back to my Switch. Speaking of which, I bought Hades finally. Oh, I cannot wait to play that. I bought it 2 days ago. Looking forward to it. I got it for $5. Had a bunch of free points at GameStop plus a $5 off coupon, so I got $30 off of a $35 game, and I was like, I like this. This is nice. I forgot what it was like to do that. Last time I did that, I think I got Pixie a purse. Or a game? I forget which one now. But yeah, there's a bunch of different stuff that I want to do as far as like content-wise, like in general, for like just a channel and different like stuff like that. Because like there's tech YouTubers, and then there's tabletop YouTubers, but nobody's really done like a combination of the two. Like, there are channels that like cover a particular program, or like one you should pick, like between like Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds and Foundry, but no one like covers Hades. So damn good. It really is. I've watched tons of gameplay, and it's one of those games like you watch the gameplay and you're like, yeah, this is the kind of game that I would enjoy playing. And I love roguelikes so much. I will play the fuck out of almost every one of them. They're right up there with Metroidvania games. I really like them. I'm not the best at them, but I'm not super bad either. You can eventually get through. You just need to do enough, get enough of the gear and materials, get through, and you win. And yeah, I enjoy it. It scratches a very special and particular itch, and I can't get enough of it, honestly. But yeah, there's a bunch of different stuff that I want to do content wise, as far as like the tech and tabletop side, like I said before. There's just like I've not seen anyone who's doing that particular kind of thing, and it's one of those things where like you do it so much already, you're like, well, most of the work would be documenting and cataloging it, because I already have the experience, so I don't have to research how to do the thing. I already know how to do it. I just need to now kind of basically just write up a script so that I'm not rambling and it's a semi-cohesive thought through the whole thing, you know, versus my normal ramblings, which are just the opposite of cohesive. But most of mine is going to be some of the things that like just give you guys a rough idea of like what I have in mind, and what you can expect. Laugh it up. You know it's true, Mo. I'll rant for fucking hours. Give me the opportunity. I have a whole platform, so I could just talk to a screen and be like, yeah. No one else is watching on the other end. It's fine. I'll still do it. I never remember either. So thankful for Frank Toad notes. Frank Toad does take incredible notes. I will say that. Like, even with like the basic notes that I take now on stuff, he still takes way better notes in the end. And so I usually will fall back on his notes of something that if I've like forgotten what that thing was, I'm like, okay, Frank Toad wrote it down. Probably happened. Probably. If I really fucking doubt, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna watch the whole 4-hour video though. I'd do it too. I have to anyway. I have to watch the whole thing for editing purposes. So, but yeah, to give you like a rough idea of like some of the stuff that I do want to do, that I've thought about is how to get maps to. This is all gonna be on Foundry. Like at this point, Roll20 is dead to me, and most of you know that already. Like, I'm not going back. I paid $50 for Foundry, and I never have to pay for Foundry ever again. It's $50, one time, permanent lifetime license. All feature updates are free. Why the fuck would I not do that? Like, that's less than what I spend on fucking Roll20 in a year. I was just like, that's a no-brainer to me, and it's more responsive, and it has more features, and it has mod support, and it just works. And I can do all sorts of crazy cool things with it too on top of it. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm fine. I'll stick with this forever. But what I want to do is I want to do some tutorials and guides on how to get maps to work as well as like the way I have them set up, so that they're quick, they're functionable, they do the thing that you want them to do. Players can connect to them and it not be a giant absolute mess. Because it works really well here, but if you don't have the right file type, and you don't have the right dimensions, it could be a headache in the long run of trying to get everything to work. So like, I'm gonna cover like the pixels per square grid, how to size and prep maps, and how to get those things tweaked so that you can, once you have it all set up in advance of the maps, you just take the file, import it, and it's ready to go. You don't have to do anything else. All you have to do at that point is just make your little points of interest, drag the little journal entries onto the screen, go from there. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing that, and that's gonna be probably one of the funner things. So the heads up will be that it's gonna require Photoshop, because it's the only tool I know how to use at this point. I have not taught myself any other one. I know GIMP exists, but that's about as far as I've gone with GIMP. I've tried to use it a couple of times, and I'm not very good at using it. I could spend some time trying to figure it out, but I think most people who know how to use GIMP could probably just Google the equivalent of what I'm doing on the Photoshop guide, and then extrapolate that idea into the map and go from there. Paint.net's also a tool you can use for free as well, but I think, honestly, I would just recommend using GIMP, honestly. It's more powerful. It's also free. But that's one of those things where, like, I don't know about you guys, but, like, maps for me are, like, the ultimate thing, because it helps me visualize, like, the kind of world that I'm playing in. Like, you can give me, like, a rough description of an area, and I can be like, okay, cool, yeah, I kind of got you. But I'm like, there's something about a tabletop map, for me, at least, that makes me go, okay, this is where I live, and then this building over here is a building that I want to check out. I'm like, okay, well, where's the weapon shop at? Like, who's the weapon shop owner? Okay, well, my character can now, like, I can see my character and imagine him walking down the street from his home to the weapon shop that he visits on the regular before he goes out on yet another adventure with his group. That kind of small little bits and pieces of immersion, are like the things that add an experience in total for me. And so I want to do a guide on how to get those maps just right so that anyone can have that experience. And if you're somebody who doesn't use maps for that, then you don't have to. It's very easy. The perfect nice in between, like, you either do or you don't. You're like, okay, well, good. But the nice part, though, is getting the maps. Once you learn how to do it and get maps just right, it's actually pretty easy. Like, I can get a brand new map off the internet and get it set up in under probably about 5 minutes. It's a pretty quick experience. The more tedious part, honestly, is just taking the time to have the notes filled out about each place. Notice the Black Lake has nothing in it. It's a lake. But, like, there's a bunch of different stuff that I think I could do that might be interesting to people. You got YouTube built into your TV? I've got YouTube built into the Sony TV that we have, but I don't have it connected to the internet. I have not connected that TV to Wi-Fi, and I hesitate to do so. I think I might be able to make it play from my phone, but I've also never tried either at the same time. That's one of those, like, probably could if I just looked into it and took the time. I just don't know. Also, Pixie just sent me an image of the orange boy, Simba, and his reaction to her turning on the bedroom light on him. He's not thrilled. He seems very sleepy. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. So I got bored and I was like, oh, I'm gonna test something out. So there's a website that does 3D printed holders for just different stuff for stream gear. And so I've had a stream deck. This stream deck right here that I've had for, I think I've had this since we've started streaming. I probably bought it like a month into us streaming, and I could honestly never imagine not using this thing to stream, because I hate having to go through and find like the scene that I'm on and then manually change it over. It's one of those, like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to, not at all. But Elgato also sells these wall mounts. So I bought the wall mount and this 3D printed piece here for like $10, I think. It was like 10 or 18 bucks online, so that I could wall mount the stream deck against the wall. I haven't done it yet. I've had it like this, just kind of dangling here, kind of propped up in the air for like 5 days now. And I'm like, I'm gonna get to that eventually. You gotta go. It's okay. We're not gonna be going for too much longer, because it's already 10:30. I just wanted to hang out with you guys for a little bit and see what you guys thought. Pitch ideas back and forth, shoot the shit, as it were, hang out, you know, the normal stuff that I like to do with you guys. But yeah, it's one of those things where I wanted to tinker around and I just wanted to see what it was like, and I think I might like it. It'd be kind of fun. I bought a couple of small, like, little things to make the stream not so much look better, but just like clean up my desk. I've got like a bunch of stuff all over the place, and it's been driving me nuts. And I was like, well, if I clean up the desk, I'll feel a little better. Like having my nice clean desk area that's still covered in cat hair anyway. But one of those small improvements. Plus, we're moving in February, beginning of February. So wherever we end up going to, it's like, well, it gives me a chance to start fresh and like redesign the setup for streaming and content creation in general. I want to also do like a drop-down green screen for some of the YouTube stuff, on the off chance that I want to do it, just so I have that option available too. So that'll be interesting to finally test that out. I have not tried to green screen anything, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I've got a lot of stuff planned. 90% of it, 95% of it's going to be on YouTube, mainly because it stays there. It doesn't go anywhere. Whereas if I had it on Twitch, it's like, well, it's gone. Like the stream I did for Yuki when we built her PC, like, that's gone. It doesn't exist anymore anywhere. So it's one of those things where like people get to watch more content in general and have more stuff to enjoy if it's just on YouTube. I'm like, I might as well just keep it on there. Only makes sense. But I think that's going to wrap it up for us, guys. And since it's YouTube, there's nobody to raid because that's not a thing. So at that point, that just means that we're going to call it a night. And I will see you all tomorrow. Most likely, we might do just another stream here on YouTube. Cross's game was held on Sunday, which is why I didn't stream on Sunday. So I might stream something. I might take the day off to just last minute prep and get the D&D game 110% done and get a little bit ahead of the players before they make my life an absolute nightmare and try to travel 800 miles east. Not that they would do that though. Right, guys? Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure Cross is laughing. And a very innocent laugh at that. My only hope is that Mo and Pixie will be the centers of sanity. It's not a good chance though. Not a good chance based on how it's going so far. Wonder who's the most stable person. You know, it's probably Devros. Devros is probably the most put together, I would say. And he's still cracking those damn jokes the whole way. But yeah, I appreciate everyone hanging out tonight. I hope the stream was good. Let me know if you guys think of anything that you want to see or anything that you noticed about the stream that might need tweaking. Just let me know in Discord. I will see you guys either tomorrow, or if not, we will be doing the actual stream itself for D&D, our 5th episode. 6th episode? 5th episode. Usual time. It's gonna be 7 p.m. just like it was before, so that part's not gonna change, just where it's gonna be. And yeah, we'll see you guys then. So you all have a good night, and I'll see you later. Bye.